to stop hospitals from closing. I wonder why Republicans have such a hard time being honest about that. Well, maybe because they caused this healthcare crisis in the first place. And let's be crystal clear, it is not honest for Republicans to try and just say, oh, well, we can just talk about healthcare later. We pinky promise. Rate hikes are being finalized right now. Notices with massive price increases will land in our families' mailboxes this month. Open enrollment starts in a matter of a few weeks. That means families are going to start seeing their premiums double. People are going to get priced out of coverage, that is, unless we act now. There is no waiting, we have been waiting. There is no later, that is too late. Our Republicans say they will not talk about solutions until the damage is done? Are they saying they want to lock in the high health care rates first? You know, the best time to put out a fire is before it burns down the house. Surely Republicans don't need me to tell them that. But if Republicans insist on asking why we can't address health care later, I've got a few questions for them. First off, why the heck couldn't we talk about health care sooner? Huh? Where in the world have you been? You moved heaven and earth to pass new tax breaks for billionaires by cutting over $1 trillion from Americans' health care. Why won't you move a muscle to save health care for our working families? I mean, my goodness, why is it not until there is a shutdown Republican leaders will even say we can at least talk about health care? Oh, but not yet. And if a shutdown is the first time Republican leaders will even acknowledge, in the slightest whisper, the looming healthcare crisis, why should we trust for 1 second you'll keep your word later? Republicans have been choosing to ignore this healthcare crisis for months, and now they face another choice. How much longer are they going to insist on this partisan path? How much longer are they going to stick their heads in the sand? Because I will warn them, the American people cannot wait. One family in my state of Washington is about to see their premiums jump from $283 a month to as high as $1,800 a month if Republicans insist on inaction. And I know they're not the only ones. To my Republican colleagues who don't think this is a crisis, to anyone who thinks health care can wait, go out and talk to people. Talk to insurance companies in your states, or doctors, or hospitals, or patients, and then come to the table and talk with us. We are here. We are ready to work on real solutions to address this healthcare crisis and reopen the government. I've been at the table the whole time. I am here. I am ready. I am willing to work out a real solution to get this done. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
The clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Cloture motion. We, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close the debate on the motion to proceed to calendar number 167 S2882, a bill making continuing appropriations for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2026, and for other purposes, signed by 17 senators.
Under previous order, the mandatory quorum call under Rule 22 has been waived. The question is the sense of the Senate that debate on the motion to proceed to S2882, a bill making continuing appropriations for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2026, and for the purpose shall be brought to close. The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Alsobrooks, Ms. Baldwin, Mr. Banks, Mr. Barrasso, Mr. Bennett, Mrs. Blackburn, Mr. Blumenthal, Ms. Blunt-Rochester, Mr. Booker, Mr. Bozeman, Mrs. Britt, Mr. Budd, Ms. Cantwell, Mrs. Capito. Mr. Cassidy, Ms. Collins, Mr. Coons, Mr. Cornyn, Ms. Cortez Masto, Mr. Cotton, Mr. Kramer, Mr. Crapo, Mr. Cruz, Mr. Curtis, Mr. Daines, Ms. Duckworth, Mr. Durbin, Ms. Ernst, Mr. Fetterman, Mrs. Fisher, Mr. Gallego, Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mr. Haggerty, Ms. Hassan, Mr. Hawley, Mr. Heinrich, Mr. Hickenlooper, Ms. Hirono, Mr. Hoven, Mr. Husted, Mrs. Hyde-Smith, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Justice. Mr. Kane, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kim, Mr. King, Ms. Klobuchar, Mr. Langford, Mr. Lee. Mr. Lujan, Ms. Lummis. Mr. Markey, Mr. Marshall, Mr. McConnell, Mr. McCormick, Mr. Merkley, Mrs. Moody, Mr. Moran, Mr. Marino, Mr. Mullen, Ms. Murkowski, Mr. Murphy, Mrs. Murray, Mr. Ossoff, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Paul, Mr. Peters, Mr. Reed, Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Risch, Ms. Rosen, Mr. Rounds, Mr. Sanders, Mr. Schatz, Mr. Schiff, Mr. Schmidt, Mr. Schumer, Mr. Scott of Florida, Mr. Scott of South Carolina. Mrs. Shaheen. Mr. Sheehy.
I'm assuming.
Ms. Slotkin. Ms. Smith. Mr. Sullivan. Mr. Thune. Mr. Tillis. Mr. Tuberville. Mr. Van Hollen. Mr. Warner. Mr. Warnock. Ms. Warren. Mr. Welch. Mr. Whitehouse. Mr. Wicker. Mr. Wyden. Mr. Young. Senators voting in the affirmative: Cantwell, Hassan, Murray, Padilla, Peters, Rosen, Shaheen, Smith, and Whitehouse. Senators voting in the negative: Barrasso, Bozeman, Capito, Cornyn, Cotton, Fisher, Graham, Haggerty, Heidsmith, Kennedy, Lemus, Marino, Mullen, Murkowski, Paul, Scott of Florida, Sheehy, and Tuberville. Mr. Schmidt. Mr. Schmidt, no. Mr. Merkley. Mr. Merkley, aye. Mr. Sanders. Mr. Sanders, aye. Mr. Wyden. Mr. Wyden, aye. Mr. Langford. Mr. Langford, no. Mr. Durbin. Mr. Durbin, aye. Mr. McCormick. Mr. McCormick, no. Mr. Husted. Mr. Husted, no. Mr. Ricketts. Mr. Ricketts, no. Mr. Curtis. Mr. Curtis, no. Ms. Baldwin. Ms. Baldwin, aye. Mr. Tillis. Mr. Tillis, no. Mr. Heinrich. Mr. Heinrich, aye. Mr. Risch. Mr. Risch, no. Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kelly, aye. Mr. Warnock. Mr. Warnock, aye. Ms. Warren. Ms. Warren, aye. Mr. Wicker, Mr. Wicker, no. Ms. Collins, Ms. Collins, no. Ms. Blunt Rochester, Ms. Blunt Rochester, aye. Mr. Murphy, aye. Mr. Reed, aye. Mr. Grassley, no. Mr. Lujan, aye. Mr. Gallego, aye. Mr. Hawley, no. Mr. Schiff, aye. Mr. King, aye. Mr. Rounds, no. Mrs. Blackburn, no. Mr. Schatz, aye. Mrs. Britt, no. Mr. Kane, aye. Mr. Cruz, no. Mr. Johnson, no. Mr. Daines, no. Mr. Young, no. Mr. Banks, no. Mr. Marshall, no. Ms. Cortez Masto, aye. Ms. Hirono, aye. Mr. Crapo, no. Mrs. Moody, no. Mr. Hoven, no. Mr. Kim, aye. Mr. Warner, aye. Mr. Moran, no. Mr. Justice, no. Ms. Slotkin, aye. Mr. Lee, no. Mr. Fetterman, aye. Mr. Cassidy, no. Mr. Ossoff, aye. Mr. Hickenlooper, aye. Mr. Budd, no. Mr. Scott of South Carolina, no. Mr. Van Hollen, aye. Mr. Markey, aye. Mrs. Gillibrand, aye. Mr. Schumer, aye. Mr. Thune, no. Ms. Alsobrooks, aye. Mr. Blumenthal, aye. Mr. Sullivan, no. Mr. McConnell, no. Mr. Booker, aye. Mr. Coons, aye. Ms. Klobuchar, aye. Mr. Bennett, aye. Ms. Duckworth, aye. Ms. Ernst, no. Mr. Welch, no. Mr. Welch, aye.
Looking out for you. Looking out.
The yeas are 47. The nays are 53. 3/5 of the senators duly chosen and sworn not having voted in the affirmative. The motion is not agreed to. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent to be in order for the two leaders to enter motions to reconsider without being on the prevailing side with respect to the cloture votes on the motion to proceed to S. 2882 and H.R. 5371. Further, that mandatory quorum calls with respect to the Cow nomination and S. Res. 412 be waived.
Is there objection? Without objection. Minority Leader.
I enter a motion to reconsider the vote on the motion to invoke cloture on the motion to proceed to S. 2882.
The motion is entered. Their clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Cloture motion. We, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22, the standing rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close debate on the motion to proceed to calendar number 168, H.R. 5371, an act making continuing appropriations and extensions for the fiscal year 2026 and for other purposes, signed by 17 senators.
Under the previous order, the mandatory quorum call under Rule 22 has been waived. The question is it the sense of the Senate that debate on the motion to proceed to H.R. 5371, an act making continuing appropriations and extensions for fiscal year 2026 and for other purposes, shall be brought to a close. The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Alsobrooks, Ms. Baldwin, Mr. Banks, Mr. Barrasso, Mr. Bennett, Mrs. Blackburn, Mr. Blumenthal, Ms. Blunt-Rochester, Mr. Booker, Mr. Bozeman, Mrs. Britt, Mr. Budd, Ms. Cantwell, Mrs. Capito, Mr. Cassidy, Ms. Collins, Mr. Coons, Mr. Cornyn, Ms. Cortez Masto, Mr. Cotton, Mr. Kramer, Mr. Crapo, Mr. Cruz, Mr. Curtis, Mr. Daines, Ms. Duckworth, Mr. Durbin, Ms. Ernst, Mr. Fetterman, Mrs. Fisher, Mr. Gallego, Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mr. Haggerty, Ms. Hassan, Mr. Hawley, Mr. Heinrich, Mr. Hickenlooper, Ms. Hirono, Mr. Hoven, Mr. Husted, Mrs. Height-Smith, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Justice, Mr. Kane, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kim, Mr. King, Ms. Klobuchar, Mr. Langford, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lujan, Ms. Lummis, Mr. Markey, Mr. Marshall, Mr. McConnell, Mr. McCormick, Mr. Merkley, Mrs. Moody, Mr. Moran, Mr. Marino, Mr. Mullen, Ms. Murkowski, Mr. Murphy, Mrs. Murray, Mr. Ossoff, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Paul, Mr. Peters, Mr. Reed, Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Risch, Ms. Rosen, Mr. Rounds, Mr. Sanders, Mr. Schatz, Mr. Schiff, Mr. Schmidt, Mr. Schumer, Mr. Scott of Florida, Mr. Scott of South Carolina, Mrs. Shaheen, Mr. Sheehy, Ms. Slotkin, Ms. Smith, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Thune, Mr. Tillis, Mr. Tuberville, Mr. Van Hollen, Mr. Warner, Mr. Warnock, Ms. Warren, Mr. Welch, Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Wicker, Mr. Wyden, Mr. Young. Senators voting in the affirmative: Barrasso, Britt, Budd, Cornyn, Cortez Masto, Cotton, Kramer, Daines, Ernst, Fetterman, Graham, Grassley, Johnson, Justice, Kennedy, King, Lankford, Marshall, McConnell, Moody, Marino, Mullen, Scott of South Carolina, and Sullivan. Ms. Collins, aye. Senators voting in the negative: Mr. Moran, aye. Senators voting in the negative: Blumenthal, Blunt Rochester, Coons, Heinrich, Hickenlooper, Kane, Kim, Merkley, Murray, Ossoff, Padilla, Reed, Sanders, Schumer, Slotkin, Warnock, and Welch. Mr. Hawley, aye. Mrs. Shaheen, no.
What that means is that every resource management plan from 1996 when the CRA was forward.
Ms. Klobuchar, no. Ms. Murkowski, aye. Ms. Alsobrooks, no. Ms. Duckworth, no. Mr. Markey, no. Mr. Thune, aye. Mr. Cassidy, aye. Mr. Durbin, no. Mr. Kelly, no. Mr. Lujan, no. Ms. Hassan, no. Mr. Peters, no. Ms. Cantwell, no. Mr. Hoven, Mr. Hoven, aye. Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Ricketts, aye. Mr. Sheehy, aye. Mr. Schiff, no. Mr. Lee, aye. Mr. Crapo, aye. Mr. Bennett, no. Mr. Tuberville, aye. Ms. Warren, no. Mrs. Blackburn, aye. Mr. Bozeman, aye. Mr. Rounds, aye. Mr. Haggerty, aye. Ms. Baldwin, no. Mr. Schatz, no. Mr. Van Hollen? Mr. Van Hollen? No. Ms. Rosen? Ms. Rosen? No. Mrs. Capito? Mrs. Capito? Aye. Mr. Husted? Mr. Husted? Aye. Mr. Banks? Mr. Banks? Aye. Mr. Wyden? Mr. Wyden? No. Mr. Booker? Mr. Booker? No. Ms. Hirono? Ms. Hirono? No. Mr. McCormick? Mr. McCormick? Aye. Mr. Curtis? Mr. Curtis? Aye. Mr. Murphy? Mr. Murphy? No. Mrs. Gillibrand? Mrs. Gillibrand? No. Mrs. Fisher? Mrs. Fisher? Aye. Ms. Smith? Ms. Smith? No. Mr. Schmidt? Mr. Schmidt? Aye. Ms. Lummis? Ms. Lummis? Aye. Mr. Tillis? Mr. Tillis? Aye. Mr. Gallego? Mr. Gallego? No. Mr. Scott? Mr. Scott of Florida? Aye. Mr. Whitehouse? Mr. Whitehouse? No. Mr. Risch? Mr. Risch? Aye. Mr. Paul, no. Mr. Young, aye. Mr. Warner, no. Mr. Cruz, aye. Mr. Wicker, aye. Mrs. Hyde-Smith, aye.
Hello, Lindsay. How are you? On this vote, the yeas are 55 and the nays are 45. 3/5 of the Senate duly chosen and sworn not having voted in the affirmation. The motion is not agreed to.
Mr. President,
Majority Leader.
I enter a motion to reconsider,
Motion is entered.
and I ask unanimous consent that if any nominations are confirmed during today's session of the Senate, that the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table, and the President be immediately notified of the Senate's action.
Without objection. The clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Cloture motion. We, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close debate on the nomination of Hung Kao of Virginia to be Undersecretary of the Navy, signed by 17 senators.
Under the previous order, the mandatory quorum call under Rule 22 has been waived. The question is it the sense of the Senate that the debate on the nomination of Hung Kao of Virginia to be Undersecretary of the Navy shall be brought to a close? The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Alsterbrooks. Ms. Baldwin. Thank you. Thank you. I got you. I got you. Mr. Banks. I got you. Thank you. Mr. Barrasso. Thank you. I got Scott. I got him. Thank you. Yeah, he didn't see me. Mr. Bennett, Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Blumenthal. Ms. Blunt-Rochester. Mr. Booker. Mr. Bozeman. I got him. No, not yet. Yeah, he did. Mrs. Britt. Mr. Budd. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Budd. Ms. Cantwell. Mrs. Capito. Okay. Mr. Cassidy. Thanks. Ms. Collins. Mr. Coons. Mr. Cornyn. Ms. Cortez Masto. Mr. Cotton, Mr. Kramer. I got you. I did.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Crapo, Mr. Cruz, Mr. Curtis. Thank you. Mr. Daines. Ms. Duckworth. Mr. Durbin. Ms. Ernst. Mr. Fetterman. Mrs. Fisher. Mr. Gallego, Mrs. Gillibrand. Mr. Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mr. Haggerty. Ms. Hassan. Mr. Hawley, Mr. Heinrich. Mr. Hickenlooper. Ms. Hirono. Mr. Hoven. Mr. Husted, Mrs. Hyde-Smith. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Justice. Mr. Kane. Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kim. Mr. King. Ms. Klobuchar. Mr. Langford. Mr. Lee. Mr. Lujan. Ms. Lemus. Mr. Markey. Mr. Marshall. Mr. McConnell. Mr. McCormick. Mr. Merkley. Mrs. Moody. Mr. Moran. Mr. Marino. Mr. Mullen. Ms. Murkowski. Mr. Murphy. Mrs. Murray. Mr. Ossoff. Mr. Padilla. Mr. Paul. Mr. Peters. Mr. Reed. Mr. Ricketts. Mr. Risch. Ms. Rosen. Mr. Rounds. Mr. Sanders. Mr. Schatz. Mr. Schiff. Mr. Schmidt. Mr. Schumer. Mr. Scott of Florida. Mr. Scott of South Carolina. Mrs. Shaheen. Mr. Sheehy. Ms. Slotkin. Ms. Smith. Mr. Sullivan. Mr. Thune, Mr. Tillis, Mr. Tuberville. Mr. Van Hollen. Mr. Warner. Mr. Warnock. Ms. Warren. Mr. Welch. Mr. Whitehouse. Mr. Wicker. Mr. Wyden. Yep. Mr. Young. Senators voting in the affirmative: Barrasso, Bozeman, Capito, Cassidy, Collins, Cornyn, Cotton, Crapo, Cruz, Curtis, Graham, Grassley, Hawley, Husted, Hyde-Smith, Lankford, Lee, Lummis, McConnell, Moran, Mullen, Paul, Ricketts, Rounds, Schmidt, Scott of Florida, Scott of South Carolina, Sheehy, Thune, Tillis, Wicker, and Young. Mrs. Fisher, aye. I have you. Senators voting in the negative: Baldwin, Bennett, Blumenthal, Blunt Rochester, Cantwell, Duckworth, Durbin, Fetterman, Gallego, Gillibrand, Hassan, Heinrich, Hickenlooper, Hirono, Kane, Kim, King, Lujan, Merkley, Murkowski, Murray, Padilla, Peters, Reed, Rosen, Schiff, Slotkin, Warner, Warnock, Welch, Whitehouse, and Wyden. Mr. Booker, no. Ms. Smith? No. Ms. Warren? No. Mr. Marshall? Aye. Mr. Hoven? Aye. Mr. Sullivan? Aye. Mr. Ossoff? No. Mr. Banks? Aye. Mr. Schatz? No. Ms. Also Brooks? No. Mrs. Shaheen? No. Mr. Kelly? No. Mr. Daines? Aye. Mr. Markey? No. Holland? No. Ms. Cortez Masto, no. Ms. Ernst, aye. Mr. Budd, aye. Mr. McCormick, aye. Ms. Klobuchar, no. Mr. Marino, aye. Mr. Kennedy, aye. Mrs. Moody, aye. Mrs. Britt, aye. Mrs. Blackburn, aye. Mr. Johnson, aye. Mr. Kramer, aye. Mr. Schumer, no. Mr. Murphy, no. Mr. Haggerty, aye. Mr. Coons, no. Mr. Justice, aye. Mr. Tuberville, aye. Mr. Risch, aye.
On this vote, the yeas are 52, the nays are 47, and the motion is agreed to. Cloture having been invoked, the Senate will proceed to executive session to consider the following nomination, which the clerk will report.
Cloture Nomination, Department of Defense, Hung Cow of Virginia to be Undersecretary of the Navy.
Okay.
Now we got a 2-hour clock. Senator from North Carolina.
President, on Saturday, I was in Western North Carolina for the day because that marked the 1-year anniversary of the landfall of Helene, and in a place that a hurricane's never really been before, about 200 miles inland, and the Smoky Mountain range. In North Carolina alone, Mr. President, it had an impact land-wise equivalent to the state of Massachusetts. About a dozen river basins were at historic 100-year flood levels, and the damage was tremendous. The loss of life, 108 people in North Carolina alone, more than 250 people by the storm. $59.6 billion in damages. It's actually the most expensive storm in North Carolina's history, breaking the previous record of $30 billion by Hurricane Florence back in 2018. 74,000 homes damaged or destroyed. 5,000 miles of roads damaged or destroyed, including major portions of I-40, which are still only one lane in each direction for about a 20-mile stretch between North Carolina and Tennessee. I-26 was damaged. Blue Ridge Parkway's just opened up. 848 bridges damaged and destroyed, 20,000 farms and 800,000 acres of timber damaged. 163 water systems damaged, with Asheville not having drinkable water for almost 2 months after the storm. Mr. President, when I was in Western North Carolina, I heard someone say that one community that I was in was back on its feet. But for every community that's back on its feet, there's still several communities that are on its knees or flat on its back. In fact, there are some communities that we wonder whether or not they ever will come back. And the reason I talk about it, in addition to being the 1-year anniversary, Mr. President, we've got real problems in the FEMA Disaster Relief Fund and resources available. The President rightfully acknowledged that there was a release of money about a month ago, but all of that is money that's already, those are reimbursements. Those are costs that have already been incurred. We haven't even gotten to a point to where we're trying to become more resilient or to prepare for the next storm. We're still, when I was riding from Old Fort to Chimney Rock, I was going down a stretch of highway, or not a stretch of highway, a stretch of state road. There are still cars in the creek beds. There are roads that are in the creek bed because they're trying to figure out where they're ultimately going to put it back on a hillside, when they can get stabilization there and actually have the funding to build the roads. I know a lot of people have moved on, Mr. President, but in Western North Carolina, we haven't moved on. We're suffering as much today as we were the day or 3 or 4 days after the storm last year. According to the latest FEMA Disaster Relief Fund monthly report, the major disasters account balance right now is at $1.4 billion. That is dangerously low. Last month, FEMA approved $7.5 billion from the major disasters account. In 2024, there were 90 FEMA-declared major disasters, nearly double the 30-year average, and 55 declarations per year, up 55 declarations per year. Already this year, and we're really ramping up in the hurricane season right now, we've had 40 major disaster declarations in 22 states. FEMA simply doesn't have the funding needed to respond to a major disaster. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in a shutdown posture right now. We have storms in the Atlantic and more storms forming off the coast of Africa, and we are not prepared for another major disaster should it hit this weekend. Nor do we have the money that we need to help communities across this country, especially in Western North Carolina, recover from Helene. The House passed continuing resolution that we tried to vote on this week had $22.5 billion for the FEMA Disaster Relief Fund. But that money's not here today because we're in a shutdown posture. We're not funding any area of government but we're especially hurting the disaster relief fund and FEMA. And the only thing standing in our way is a simple vote to continue funding at levels that my Democratic colleagues have agreed to before. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have a CR that the president or that the majority leader has decorated with ornaments. We call it like decorate some of these spending bills like a Christmas tree. This is a simple continuing resolution to spend at the level we were spending yesterday. There's nothing more to it. There's money in here to help with disaster relief, but there's nothing more. This shutdown is hurting people in North Carolina. This shutdown will hurt more people. When I lost the season last year in the tourist season to the Blue Ridge Parkway and the Great Smoky Mountain Parks, that was a hurricane. That was an inland hurricane, a disaster. This year, it's the disastrous vote of the Democrats not allowing us to continue to fund at the levels that we did yesterday. We're not asking for anything more than that. We're asking for time to negotiate the premium tax credits, the ACA credits that I'm on record as saying we do need to find a good place for that. It's not about canceling them. But folks, we can't even get to that if we can't agree to something as basic as can we spend today what we did yesterday? And I know that there are several members on the other side of the aisle that would like to move with a clean CR and get to that negotiation. And I'm just speaking on behalf of people in North Carolina, particularly Western North Carolina, that are struggling mightily. I hope that we can get back to funding the government, that we can plus up the disaster relief fund, and that I won't have to come to the floor next week to see who's going to be against this unanimous consent for doing just that. Let's do our job. Let's get back in business. Let's get the government funded, and let's help the people in North Carolina and dozens of disaster-declared places all across this country. Thank you, Mr. President.
President.
Senator from Massachusetts.
Mr. President, in July, when Republicans voted on the first spending bill for 2026, with cuts that would knock 15 million people off health care, I stood right here and I asked my Republican colleagues in the Senate to grow a spine and stand up for Americans. We are here today because the Republicans refused. Instead, Republicans bowed down to Trump, and now people all across this country will suffer. Let's be clear. Republicans shut down the government because they rather make health care more expensive than keep the government running. That is literally where we are right now. Republicans control the House, Republicans control the Senate, Republicans control the White House. They are in power. It is their job to keep the government running for the American people, and they have failed. Donald Trump and the Republicans own this shutdown. And don't take it from me. Listen to Donald J. Trump. In 2013, Trump himself said about a potential government shutdown, quote, "If there is a shutdown, I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the President of the United States. He's the one that has to get people together." That's Donald J. Trump. Now, at the same time, Trump said, quote, "The president has to lead. You have to get people in a room, and you have to just make deals for the good of the country." Donald Trump today should listen to Donald Trump from yesterday. Instead, Trump, Mr. Art of the Deal, hasn't been able to cut a deal for the most basic government functions. Wow. As Trump said, that is a tremendously negative mark on the President of the United States. Let me say it again. Democrats are fighting to roll back the Republican cuts that will take away health care from millions of people and raise health insurance premiums for millions more. That's it. That's what we're asking for. We have been asking for months to negotiate over this, and the Republicans have said no. What are they doing right now? Are they making counteroffers? Are they saying we could go this far but not this far? Nope. They are simply saying no. So now, when a family is forced to the brink of bankruptcy from one bad medical diagnosis, Trump and the Republicans own it. Republicans insist that those health care cuts go through. When community hospitals have to shut down, Trump and Republicans own it. When kids with cancer can't get treatment because potentially life-saving research grants come to a screeching halt, Trump and Republicans own it. When insurance premiums skyrocket, Trump and Republicans own it. Healthcare in America was already broken, but Trump and Republicans are making it much, much worse. They ripped away money that covers mamas giving birth and neighbors who need wheelchairs and home health aides, and they handed it over to giant corporations and billionaire CEOs. Democrats believe that no one should go bankrupt because they got sick and needed to see a doctor. So Democrats are here to say, we are willing to fight for families who need health care. If Congress is going to pass a budget for the United States government, then Democrats want saving health care for millions of Americans just to be part of that deal. Democrats have made that clear, and Republicans have refused even to talk about it. Trump is already doing his best to shut down government, or at least to shut down the parts of government that he doesn't like. Since day one, Trump has been trying to illegally wipe away millions of dollars for programs that Congress already agreed to fund. Trump and his buddy Elon Musk have fired tens of thousands of federal workers. Trump is declaring American cities as war zones and sending troops to invade communities. Trump is playing king time and time again, and Republicans in Congress are bowing down and letting him do it. While all of that is going on, Republicans in Congress want Democrats just to sign a blank check and hand it over to Trump and let him continue to shut down whatever he doesn't like and to destroy our democracy. They want us to agree to a budget knowing full well that Trump will then turn around tomorrow and delete this part or that part or whatever he doesn't like, just like he has already done. Why would we play along with that farce? Why would we throw our support behind a deal that any time, any day, Trump could just decide he doesn't feel like honoring it? And why would we do that without getting anything in return to help American families who are struggling with high costs, particularly the health care costs that Republicans are driving up? To do that would be a betrayal of the American people. Senate Democrats are holding the line for families. Senate Republicans decided they'd rather take orders from a wannabe king and shut down the entire government instead of helping out families who are getting squeezed on health care costs. It really is that simple. Make no mistake, this Trump shutdown will hurt people. Because of Republicans, children across this country could lose access to childcare through Head Start. Because of Republicans, the National Institutes of Health Clinical Center will now stop enrolling patients in clinical trials that could be their only shot at treatment. Because of Republicans, air traffic controller hiring will stop at a time when we're already dealing with a dangerous shortage. Because of Republicans, park rangers and thousands of other civil servants won't get paid. Because of Republicans, Donald Trump's corruption and chaos will continue. So what's next? Well, Democrats want to keep the government open and We want rollbacks of the Republican cuts that will cost 15 million Americans their health care coverage and drive up insurance costs for everyone else. Look, this isn't partisan. This is a righteous fight on behalf of everyone who needs health care, everyone who might need to go to the hospital, everyone who counts on a community clinic or a home health aide, whether they are a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, or a none of the above. We are in this fight for Americans and for American health care, and it is only the Senate Republicans, led by Donald Trump, who stand in the way. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
Mr. President.
Senator of West Virginia.
Mr. President, as I was sitting and listening, I feel like I'm living in an alternative universe here sometimes, and I'm sure the American people feel this way. Are people being hurt today? You're daggone right they are. They're being hurt because Senator Schumer and his following will not quite simply reopen the government so we can begin negotiations on some of the issues that are a part of this disagreement. So I'm a senior member of the Appropriations Committee, and one of my most important responsibility is to make sure that the government stays open and working for the people that we represent. That's why I'm so deeply disappointed to be standing here today in the midst of a totally avoidable government shutdown, all because the Senate Democrats refused to join us as Republicans in supporting a common sense, short-term, nonpartisan continuing resolution. And we've seen Leader Thune pick it up in his hands. Very simple. Let's just keep the government open until November the 21st, discuss these issues, finish the appropriations process, and move on. But let me be clear what that short-term continuing resolution was designed to do. It is not a gimmick. It is not a gimmick. It's the same legislation that the Senate Democrat leader brought before this body 13 times and had it passed. It's not a partisan maneuver. It's a straightforward measure to keep critical services in operation while giving Congress the time that we need to finish our work on appropriations through regular order the way that we used to do it. And some of our Democrat colleagues have agreed with us in the last several votes. So bottom line, we don't have to be where we are, and we really shouldn't be here because this position is untenable. We have a path forward. It's so easy. It's so easy. When people are watching this, they're hearing us try to, blame one person or the other. The easy thing is turn around and vote to reopen the government, and we can begin to have our conversations. We have a path forward. It requires the Democrats to come to their senses, quite frankly, and vote for this reasonable measure. The Senate has already passed 3 appropriations bills, which is 3 more than we passed under their leadership last year. And we have 5 more that have received heavy bipartisan support in committee and are ready for a full Senate vote. That would be CJS, Defense, Interior, Labor H, which I chair, and THUD, which is the Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development Bill. That's progress. That's responsibility. That's what we're here for. That's us doing our job. But in order to complete the process, we need time. And the continuing resolution is that bridge of time to keep the government open while we finish our work. So unfortunately, the Democrats have chosen a different path. They have chosen to shut down the government. That's where we are today. The government is shut down. They made a political calculation, all based on politics, appeasing their far-left base instead of doing the right thing for the American people. And unfortunately, hardworking families all across this country who rely on critical government services are the ones who are suffering. Government shutdowns have real consequences. In West Virginia, our businesses and our federal workers face uncertainty about their pay. Families who rely on essential benefits are put in limbo. It's scary for people. Some people with children with disabilities or folks that rely on services daily are concerned about where this is going to lead. Small businesses are waiting on federal permits on loans. They're going to have to wait longer. And while so many others are told yet again, as we see, the politics of Washington is coming before the people. My state of West Virginia has the third largest amount of federal employees. We're situated quite close to the District of Columbia. So all of those public servants who are bearing the brunt of this nonsense, please know how much I value your contribution every day, and that I'll work tirelessly to get you back to work, to get you back to that certainty that you need. You know, the shutdown is just so avoidable, and it's so unacceptable. But you know what? As Republicans, we're not giving up, because we never do. And as Leader Thune has indicated, we will continue bringing forward opportunities for the Democrats to join us in reopening the government. We'll keep voting to do the right thing and give them a chance to do the same. The American people expect Congress to be responsible stewards of their tax dollars. I know that's what my constituents in my home state of West Virginia want me to do. They expect us to keep the government functioning. I can't even believe I'm having to even say this, because it's just such a given. They want the government open while we debate our differences. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be debating, not shutting down the government. And that's what the Republican CR would have allowed us to do. So I urge my colleagues across the aisle, quit playing the political games, end the shutdown, and join us in funding the government. Let's finish our work on the appropriations process, and let's return to the regular order process that we have begun at the beginning of the summer, because it brings transparency, accountability, and bipartisanship back to the appropriations process. We have it in committee. We need to have it on this floor. It's what West Virginians deserve. That's what the American people deserve. That's what they expect. Quite frankly, that's what they expect every day. These young people on the floor are getting to hear a debate, and I'm sure it's one that they'll remember, and I'm sure they're thinking to yourself, it's a simple thing, reopen the government. Reopen the government. Why was it closed in the first place? For a political stunt that's not working. They're boxed in. Let's just say, okay, let's open, let's begin our discussions, and let's solve the problems that we have in front of us. So with that, Mr. President, I thank you, and I will yield the floor.
Mr. President.
Senator from Nevada.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today to mark the 8th anniversary of the worst mass shooting in modern American history. And today, as I give this speech, far too many Americans across the country are reeling from the pain of shootings in their own communities. This country is seeing a horrifying increase in mass violence that doesn't just destroy the lives of the victims, it tears apart families. It leaves loved ones with an unfillable hole in their hearts, and it brings communities to the breaking point. I've seen it firsthand. 8 years ago today, a man gunned down 58 people at the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival in Las Vegas, Nevada. More than 800 people were wounded in that chaos, and 2 people later succumbed to their injuries. That day and those that followed were some of the toughest for all of us. Me personally, my niece was attending that festival, and I remember the overwhelming relief that I felt to learn that she was safe and okay. But I also remember spending time at the reunification center with the families of the missing festival attendees, praying with those families, crying with those families, watching them as they were hoping and praying that their loved ones would return to them. Some were lucky, but many were not. Our city, our entire state of Nevada, felt lost. But I will tell you, out of this horror came something miraculous. In the aftermath of 1 October, Nevadans came together to support each other. People came out in droves to give blood. There were lines around the block. They donated money, food, clothing, and they lent a helping hand to those who had lost so much. I will tell you, businesses, community organizations, and law enforcement did what they could to ease the burden of the families who had been impacted. And I worked across the aisle with my colleague, Republican Senator at the time, Dean Heller, to get financial relief for the victims. Our city united in the face of this tragedy, and we came out of it Vegas strong. I am forever touched by those incredible efforts to shine a light in the darkness. But even all that good cannot erase the scars left behind by this massacre. Its victims were innocent people who went to a music festival to enjoy themselves. It didn't matter what they did for work or what they believed or who they loved. They were actually gunned down indiscriminately. In the 8 years since that tragedy that shook my state to its core, we've sadly seen more violence erupting across the country. We've seen it in places of worship, in schools, and in grocery stores. As Americans, as members of Congress, we have to continue speaking out against it. Violence is never the answer. We cannot survive in a country where this is the norm. We have to do better in our rhetoric and our actions. For me, that means coming together to work on common sense solutions like finally banning bump stocks, passing comprehensive background checks to make sure that criminals can't exploit loopholes to buy deadly weapons, and delivering more support for, yes, mental health in this country. And it also means always remembering the victims of the Route 91 Harvest Festival massacre, grieving the lives they never got to live, and the families they never got to come home to or create, serves as a stark reminder of the horrors violence like this can cause. We owe it to them and to their loved ones to keep working together to end it. In the aftermath of this tragedy, Las Vegas has rebuilt. We have risen from the ashes stronger than ever. We will never forget the trauma inflicted on us that day. That pain must fuel us to work together toward a better future for our children, for our families, and for our country. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
Clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Also Brooks.
Senator from Kansas.
I ask unanimous consent that the quorum call be lifted.
Without objection.
Mr. President, it's been a sad day, a set of sad days in my hometown in Kansas. And I rise today to mourn the loss and honor the sacrifice of Hayes Police Officer Sergeant Scott Heineman, who was shot and killed in the line of duty while responding to a domestic violence call. He passed away in the early morning hours of Sunday, September the 28th. My hometown of Hayes, population about 21,000, is a tight-knit community where people look out for their neighbors, they care for those in need, and they protect the vulnerable. Sergeant Hyman embodied the best of small-town Kansas values, living a life of integrity, devotion, and courage, despite the dangers he faced each and every day. He too called, from a young age, Hayes his home. He grew up there and he graduated from Thomas More Prep Marian High School, our hometown Catholic school. He attended the University of Kansas before returning home to the place he was raised. Sergeant Hyman began his service with the Hayes Police Department in 2016, and after 9 years with the department, his watch ended way too soon. He was an Eagle Scout and a member of Immaculate Heart of Mary Catholic Church. He was a son, a father, a husband, and was devoted to his wife, Beth, and a loving dad to his children, Patrick and Victoria. Our prayers are with his family and his parents, Bill and Teresa Hyman. It's such a difficult time. Every day, law enforcement officers risk their safety, putting their lives on the line to protect and serve both their neighbors and strangers. And Kansas is it's a home to so many brave men and women who've answered the call to serve, and too many have given their lives to fulfill this mission. In small towns across Kansas, law enforcement officers, as they are in Hayes, are well known by their communities. They are well loved by their communities. We know them. We see them in the grocery store, at the football games on Friday night, in church on Sunday. They're members of our community, and they're familiar faces. This courageous young man died with honor, protecting his community and the people he had sworn to serve. In Hayes and across Kansas, the sacrifice he made will not be forgotten, and we resolve to forever honor his service to the community he loved. I ask the United States Senate to join me and my family and my hometown, expressing our sympathy and gratitude, our respect for this officer, for a life served in service to others and to a community that mourns his loss. Mr. President, I yield the floor.
Senator for Hawaii.
Mr. President, preventing people from losing their health care should not be a partisan question, because outside of the four corners of this Capitol, it does not matter. Excuse me. Let's start. President, preventing people from losing their health care should not be a partisan issue, because outside of the four corners of this Capitol, it should not matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. We should all not want people to have spikes in their health insurance costs. In a matter of days, tens of millions of people all across the country are going to get letters in the mail saying, your monthly premium starting January 1st is going to be more than double what you pay now. More than double. And that's not my speculating. That's not my allegation. That's not a political talking point that was cooked up in some Democratic lab. That is what the Kaiser Family Foundation analysis showed, that premiums will increase on average by 114% per person. Not 14%, 114%. That's just the average. Some people's rates will be changed based on their income level. So say you make $35,000 a year. You're now going to be paying almost $1,600 more per year for coverage. And if you're a family of four making 75 grand, you're going to be paying more than $3,000 extra dollars. I just encourage everybody who's watching, all of my colleagues, all of the staff, all of the members of the media, to talk to anyone in your hometown. Most people just don't have that kind of money lying around. If you're a family living paycheck to paycheck, if you're a young couple saving up to buy a home, if you're a small business owner already cutting back on costs because everything is more expensive now, what are you supposed to do? This is not a crisis that Democrats have cooked up to score political points. The reason for the urgency is that October 1 is the day that people are going to get letters from their insurance carriers telling them that this is happening. Open enrollment begins in exactly a month. People are scared about how they're going to pay for their health care, or if they are going to have it at all. There are a lot of people who just can't absorb this extra cost. It's not like you can buy a little less of something. When you're at the grocery store, and for instance, vegetables are now 39% more expensive, well, you still got some money in your pocket. You're going to buy fewer vegetables and more of the cheap stuff, which is why, by the way, hamburger helper purchases have spiked. So people are making these adjustments to the fact that everything has gotten more expensive. But with health insurance, you can't turn the dials like that. You can't buy a little less health insurance. You either can absorb the cost or you cannot. And if you cannot, you will go without health insurance. And here's the thing that people need to understand. This directly impacts about 24 million people, okay? Now that's enough for us to pay enough attention and try to come up with a bipartisan solution. But the truth is that we already know what happens when people lose their health insurance, right? They end up getting sicker and sicker, and at some point they present themselves to emergency rooms, right? And everybody understands, kind of intuitively, but there's plenty of data to back this up, that when you present yourself at an emergency room when you are already super sick, that you require a bunch of very expensive interventions. And that cost is distributed among the rest of us who still have insurance. And so it's not just the 24 million Americans who are going to pay more for health insurance and some number of millions of those Americans who are just not going to have insurance at all. It's also a mathematical certainty that the increased stupidity of the system, the increased extent to which the system now makes even less sense than it does already, we're all going to eat the cost, whether you're on the so-called exchange or not. Look, Republicans are in charge of Washington. We lost the election. Elections, consequences. I get it. When we had the trifecta, we did a bunch of things to reduce the price of prescription medicine, to build infrastructure, to fix the post office, to do the Respect for Marriage Act, to pass the Inflation Reduction Act. We did a bunch of stuff. And Republicans are doing a bunch of stuff. But we're trying to hand our Republican colleagues a lifeline because prices are going to spike everywhere. And I said this yesterday, and I mean this. If we were a little more cynical, we might just say, this is your problem, why don't you guys just stew in it? Because this is, frankly, electorally a very powerful issue. People are going to be really pissed when they get these letters in the mail. They really are. And so the super cynical, election-oriented thing for us to do would be simply to say, good luck with all that. But maybe it's a strength of the Democratic caucus, and maybe it's a weakness of the Democratic caucus, but we just care too much about people to let that happen. And so we are simply asking, in the context of this shutdown, to jumpstart a negotiation about how to prevent a 114% increase in the cost of health care for 24 million Americans. And look, the cost of electricity is not just up, it's double the inflation rate. The cost of groceries is spiking. The cost of raw materials to build a house, spiking. The cost of basically anything you want to buy at a Walmart or a Costco or a Target or a Safeway or a Food Lion or wherever you go is spiking. And all of that is a consequence of both inflation and tariffs. But this thing is a public policy. This is intentional to spike these rates. And we're saying, are you guys sure you want to do this? And we're about to find out whether they are sure that they want to impose a doubling of insurance costs to 24 million Americans. I yield the floor.
Senator from Michigan.
Mr. President, yesterday I came to the floor to warn that a critical cybersecurity protection that has been in place for a decade was set to run out and expire at the end of the fiscal year. I urge my colleagues to pass a bipartisan, clean, 10-year extension to keep these important national security protections in place. Unfortunately, one of my colleagues, just one of my colleagues objected, and as of midnight, they have now expired. As a result, we are without this critical line of defense. Our economy, our infrastructure, and our government is exposed. It is now going to be a more challenging effort to protect businesses and critical infrastructure against cyber attacks. At a time, Mr. President, when you know that our adversary attacks continue to grow more aggressive and more sophisticated. This law was passed with strong bipartisan support, and the support remains strong in both chambers. Even the Trump administration agrees, and the White House and the Department of Homeland Security support a 10-year extension and want to see this bill passed. For months, my colleagues and I have heard from a broad coalition of industry leaders who need the long-term certainty that a 10-year reauthorization provides, so we can protect our systems and they can protect their systems and customers. And that's why Senator Rounds and I introduced a clean, bipartisan 10-year extension all the way back in April. Every hour we delay is an open invitation to cyber criminals and hostile actors to attack our economy and our critical infrastructure. And I would urge my colleagues to put our national and economic security first and pass this clean, long-term extension. As if in legislative session and notwithstanding Rule 22, I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs be discharged from further consideration of S. 1377 and the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration. That the bill be considered read a third time and passed, and the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate.
Is there objection?
Mr. President.
Senator from Oklahoma.
Reserving the right to object. As Mr. President, as you know, the CISA reauthorization is also included in the clean CR that we're also trying to be able to pass with this continuing resolution. On behalf of Chairman Paul, he has asked me to be able to come and object. So I object.
Heard. Senator from Michigan.
Mr. President, the CR has not passed. We are now vulnerable right now. As my colleague from Oklahoma knows, we are now vulnerable. I do not know when that continuing resolution will pass. Every day that goes by, we are susceptible to a cyber attack. Who is going to answer for that when it occurs? Because we did not act here. And we also know that even if the CR were to pass, it's a couple months. We need to have long-term certainty. That's what we've been hearing from all of the folks in the cybersecurity industry. It's why the Trump administration is saying we need to pass a 10-year extension and we need to do it now. It's why members in the House, both Democrats and Republicans, overwhelming support there. There's overwhelming support in this chamber right now. I assume if we had a vote today, it would be overwhelmingly passed. Why do we risk the security of our country from cyber attacks? Why don't we pass common sense legislation? That's what the Senate should do. I know we have issues that we debate all the time, but when there's overwhelming support and the threats to our country are imminent, we should act. And when we don't act, we fail the American people.
Senator from Oklahoma.
I know of no other further debate on the question.
Is there further debate? If not, the question occurs on the nomination. Is there a sufficient second? There appears to be. Clerk, call the roll.
Ms. Alsobrooks, Ms. Baldwin, Mr. Banks, Mr. Barrasso, Mr. Bennett, Mrs. Blackburn, Mr. Blumenthal, Ms. Blunt-Rochester, Mr. Booker, Mr. Bozeman, Mrs. Britt, Mr. Budd, Ms. Cantwell, Mrs. Capito, Mr. Cassidy, Ms. Collins, Mr. Coons, Mr. Cornyn, Ms. Cortez Masto, Mr. Cotton, Mr. Kramer, Mr. Crapo, Mr. Cruz, Mr. Curtis, Mr. Daines, Ms. Duckworth, Mr. Durbin, Ms. Ernst, Mr. Fetterman, Mrs. Fisher, Mr. Gallego, Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mr. Haggerty, Ms. Hassan, Mr. Hawley, Mr. Heinrich, Mr. Hickenlooper, Ms. Hirono, Mr. Hoven, Mr. Husted, Mrs. Hyde-Smith, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Justice, Mr. Kane, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kim, Mr. King, Ms. Klobuchar, Mr. Langford. Mr. Lee. Mr. Lujan. Ms. Lummis. Mr. Markey. Mr. Marshall. Mr. McConnell. Mr. McCormick. Mr. Merkley. Mrs. Moody. Mr. Moran. Mr. Marino. Mr. Mullen. Ms. Murkowski. Mr. Murphy. Mrs. Murray. Mr. Ossoff. Mr. Padilla. Mr. Paul. Mr. Peters. Mr. Reed. Mr. Ricketts. Mr. Risch. Ms. Rosen. Mr. Rounds. Mr. Sanders. Mr. Schatz. Mr. Schiff. Mr. Schmidt. Mr. Schumer. Mr. Scott of Florida. Mr. Mr. Scott of South Carolina. Mrs. Shaheen. Mr. Sheehy. Ms. Slotkin. Ms. Smith. Mr. Sullivan. Mr. Thune. Mr. Tillis. Mr. Tuberville. Mr. Van Hollen. Mr. Warner. Mr. Warnock. Ms. Warren. Mr. Welch. Mr. Whitehouse. Mr. Wicker. Mr. Wyden. Mr. Young. Senators voting in the affirmative: Blackburn, Bozeman, Capito, Cassidy, Collins, Cornyn, Crapo, Curtis, Daines, Graham, Hoven, Husted, Hyde-Smith, Langford, Lummis, Moody, Marino, Paul, Ricketts, Risch, Sheehy, Tillis, Tuberville, and Wicker. Mrs. Fisher, aye. Mr. Marshall, aye. Senators voting in the negative: Baldwin, Cortez Masto, Duckworth, Hassan, Kane, Kim, Merkley, Murphy, Murray, Ossoff, Padilla, Schiff, Warren, and Whitehouse. Mr. Welch, no. Mr. Peters, no. Mr. Schmidt, aye. Mr. Lujan, no. Ms. Hirono, no. Mr. Grassley, aye. Mrs. Britt, aye. Mrs. Shaheen, no. Mr. Cotton, aye. Ms. Ernst, aye. Mr. Sullivan, aye. Mr. Young, aye. Mr. Kramer, aye. Mr. Kennedy, aye. Mr. Scott of South Carolina, aye. Mr. Heinrich, no. Mr. Fetterman, no. Mr. Barrasso, aye. Mr. Gallego, no. Mr. Durbin, no. Mr. Lee, aye. Mr. Wyden, no. Mr. Budd, aye. Mr. Banks, aye. Ms. Cantwell, no. Mr. Cruz, aye. Mr. Van Hollen, no. Ms. Alsobrooks, no. Mr. Warnock, no. Mr. Mullen, aye. Mr. Scott of Florida, aye. Ms. Klobuchar, no. Ms. Murkowski, no. Mr. King, no. Mr. McCormick, aye. Mr. Blumenthal, no. Mr. Rounds, aye. Mr. Moran, aye. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, aye. Mr. Thune. Mr. Thune, aye. Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith, no. Mr. Reed. Mr. Reed, no. Mr. Hickenlooper. Mr. Hickenlooper, no. Mr. McConnell. Mr. McConnell, aye. Ms. Blunt Rochester. Ms. Blunt Rochester, no. Mr. Markey. Mr. Markey, no. Ms. Slotkin, no. Mr. Haggerty, aye. Mr. Hawley, aye. Mr. Bennett, no. Mr. Justice, aye. Mr. Warner, no. Mr. Kelly, no. Ms. Rosen, no. Mr. Sanders, no. Mr. Booker, no. Mr. Coons, no.
On this vote, the yeas are 52, the nays are 45. The nomination is agreed to. Under the previous order, the motion to reconsider is considered made, laid upon the table, and the President will be immediately notified of the Senate's actions. The clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Cloture motion, we the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close debate on Executive Calendar Number 2, SRES 412, an executive resolution authorizing the en bloc consideration and executive session of certain nominations on the executive calendar, signed by 17 senators.
Under the previous order, the mandatory quorum call under Rule 22 has been waived. The question is it the sense of the Senate that debate on SRES 412, an executive resolution authorizing the en bloc consideration and executive session of certain nominations on the executive calendar shall be brought to a close. The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Alsterbrooks, Ms. Baldwin, Mr. Banks, Mr. Barrasso. Okay, got you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Collins. Yep, got.
Young eye. McCormick. Thank you. Thank you.
Cotton, aye.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett, Mrs. Blackburn, Mr. Blumenthal, Ms. Blunt-Rochester, Mr. Booker, Mr. Bozeman, Mrs. Britt, Mr. Budd, Ms. Cantwell, Hirono. Hassan, Smith, Sanders, Kelly, thank you. Coons, I got you. Ms. Alsterbrooks, thank you. I got you. I got you. Gallego, I got you. Thank you. Kennedy. I got you. Thank you. Ms. Cantwell, Mrs. Capito, Mr. Cassidy. Ms. Collins. Schmidt. Mr. Coons. Mr. Cornyn. Ms. Cortez Masto. Mr. Cotton. Mr. Kramer. Mr. Crapo. Mr. Cruz. Mr. Curtis. Thank you. Mr. Daines, Ms. Duckworth. Mr. Durbin. Ms. Ertz. Mr. Fetterman, Mrs. Fisher, Mr. Gallego, Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mr. Haggerty, Ms. Hassan, Mr. Hawley, Mr. Heinrich, Mr. Hickenlooper, Ms. Hirono, Mr. Hoven, Mr. Husted. Thanks. Mrs. Hyde-Smith, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Justice, Mr. Kane, Mr. Kelly. We did not get Kane's. Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kim, Mr. King, Ms. Klobuchar, Mr. Langford, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lujan, Ms. Lummis, Mr. Markey, Mr. Marshall, Mr. McConnell, Mr. McCormick, Mr. Merkley, Mrs. Moody, Mr. Moran, Mr. Marino, Mr. Mullen, Ms. Murkowski, Mr. Murphy, Mrs. Murray, Mr. Ossoff, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Paul, Mr. Peters, Mr. Reed, Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Risch, Ms. Rosen, Mr. Rounds, Mr. Sanders, Mr. Schatz, Mr. Schiff, Mr. Schmidt, Mr. Schumer, Mr. Scott of Florida, Mr. Scott of South Carolina. Thank you. I did. Thank you. You too. Mrs. Shaheen, Mr. Sheehy, Ms. Slotkin, Ms. Smith, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Thune, Mr. Tillis, Mr. Tuberville, Mr. Van Hollen, Mr. Warner, Mr. Warnock, Ms. Warren, Mr. Welch, Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Wicker, Mr. Wyden, Mr. Young. Senators voting in the affirmative: Banks, Barrasso, Bozeman, Britt, Budd, Capito, Collins, Cornyn, Cotton, Kramer, Cruz, Daines, Fisher, Graham, Hawley, Hoven, Hyde-Smith, Johnson, Justice, Kennedy, Lankford, Lummis, McConnell, McCormick, Moody, Moran, Marino, Mullen, Murkowski, Rounds, Schmidt, Scott of Florida, Scott of South Carolina, Sullivan, Thune, Tillis, Tuberville, Wicker, and Young. Mr. Marshall, aye. Mr. Lee, aye. Mr. Husted, aye. Senators voting in the negative: Senators voting in the negative: also Brooks, Blumenthal, Blunt Rochester, Booker, Cantwell, Coons, Cortez Masto, Fetterman, Gallego, Gillibrand, Hassan, Heinrich, Hickenlooper, Hirono, Kelly, King, Klobuchar, Lujan, Murray, Ossoff, Peters, Rosen, Sanders, Schatz, Shaheen, Slotkin, Smith, and Wyden. Mr. Van Hollen, no. Mr. Reed, no. Mr. Durbin, no. Mr. Merkley, no. Mr. Murphy, no. Mr. Warnock, no. Mr. Welch, no. Mr. Paul, aye.